Hi, I just said we and you watching the view review.
Hey, this is Miguel Ross from the Los Angeles Lawyer, and you're listening to the Blue Review.
Bum, bum,
Bum,
ba-da-dum, bum,
bum.
bum. I'm giving you pew 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 pews. I'm giving you lasers because Greg's back. Greg
Hey,
Bergman is
hello.
back
How are
today.
you? I'm back.
That is
Unfortunately.
that is worth lasers to me. Welcome
I
back, man.
appreciate
It's
that.
good to see you again.
Thanks, man. It was
Uh,
a wonderful vacation. I'm sad that it's over.
yeah, I understand. Being in Hawaii will do that to a man for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome everybody to the Thursday edition of the Blue Review presented by LAX. I'm Marcus Grant. As we have established, that is Greg Bergman, who is back from vacation. Dodgers, tough one again last night in Atlanta. They've lost the first two games of the series. Last night, a 6-5 walk-off win for the Braves. Heartbreak all around. We will get into that. Not just on the field, but the news coming after the game as well. So we'll dive into that and plenty more. But first, want to let you know the Blue Review is powered by LAX. The LAX Skylink train is currently in testing, preparing to provide a direct, fast, and free connection to the new rental car center, the airport terminals, and the LA Metro. For more information, visit lawa.org/ESPN. All right. 6-5, the final score. Geez, what is the biggest takeaway from last night? Is it the missed opportunities? Is it the questionable defense? Is it giving up a hit to a guy who hadn't had a hit in damn near 3 months? Which part was the most disappointing to you yesterday, Greg?
Yes. All of those things were extremely disappointing. I think, the back-to-back blown saves by Tanner Scott, that's extraordinarily frustrating as well. I think they're doing a lot of things right. They're getting guys on base, and they're getting guys on base at a very high rate too. They had they had somewhere around 10 hits, 7 walks. They were on base a ton of times. They just couldn't. It's the missed opportunities. I'm going to go with that. The missed opportunities were the biggest. Over the last couple of innings, they had bases loaded multiple times and couldn't get the guys in to make it so that they could take the lead. They had multiple chances. I don't really think Mookie Betts could have made it from third on that play. That it was just a ball hit to the outfield. It was close. I felt like he probably should have gone, but at the same time, if he gets thrown at home, then you're looking at a bad situation. So I understood why he didn't go, and especially when he only had one out. It's just the grounding into double play, which we've seen thousands of times. It just bit at you in the ass. But Marcus, the biggest thing to me is that was playoff baseball. That was multiple chances, high-level situations, and the Braves came out on top in a very high-level situation against the closer once again, and that's kind of where this comes down to.
Yeah, I think that's a frustrating part of it too, right? Is that the Dodgers have already said that when Edwin Diaz comes back, he's not going to have the ninth inning. That it's going to be Tanner Scott, who for the majority of the year has been lights out. Right, the last two nights have not worked out for him. Now, I will say in his defense, on Tuesday night, he did give up the double to Olsen, but then it was just a ground ball and then some soft contact to Ozzy Albies that ended up giving up the run. Last night just really struggled with his command, and I don't know, falling behind 3-0, 3-1 it was to Kim before giving up a base hit on 3-2. That one to me is a little bit harder to stomach. But again, because he's been so good all year long, I'm hoping that these are just a couple of hiccups. What is concerning to me right now is that their last few series against playoff level teams and teams that they very well could run into in the playoffs, they have not played well. They were swept in Chicago against the Cubs. They lose 3 of 4 at home to Milwaukee, and now they've lost the first two to the Braves. I don't know if you're willing to kind of shake this off and look at it as, hey, look, they're at least playing better now, or is this a real concern that the teams that they could run into in October have gotten their number lately.
So I would think it's a concern, Marcus, unless the fact is that they did this last year. They got swept by Milwaukee last year. They lost games to a bunch of good teams. They got swept by the Angels last year. I think what happens in the regular season, as much as we want to compare it to what's going to happen to the postseason, you just really can't do it because what's going on there and what happens in the postseason is two totally separate situations. Yes. It matters to them in the long run because of what they're going to be in the top spot, or if the number 2 spot, or if the Braves come and catch them. All those things matter. I just don't equate regular season baseball. As much as that was a playoff atmosphere, it wasn't playoff baseball because it wasn't the actual playoffs. I think things work out differently in those situations. I think they play differently, maybe get a big hit in that situation. But the fact is that they were getting on base and they were taking walks, and what they were doing was actually the right way of playing. Unfortunately, they're playing a little bit of a Brewer style baseball where they're getting a lot of singles, and those singles aren't turning into runs because they aren't a team on the base paths that you would trust to generate runs in that way. So that's kind of what's a little bit annoying to me. I know yesterday they had a little bit more slug, some doubles, but you're not getting the home runs besides the Tommy Edman one. You're not getting home runs in big situations that I think you probably see when it comes to the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing right now is they're just looking for the big hit from somebody, anybody. I mean, in recent weeks, it's been Max Muncy getting it done, though last night he had a chance with the bases loaded and chased it was off the plate, but it was a good pitch. It looked like a strike out of hand, and I think he was just kind of in swing mode, so he chases and strikes out. You mentioned they get the game tied on the bases loaded walk to Tommy Edman, and then Alec Thomas promptly hits into a 4-6-3 double play, which – in my head, when Edman comes to the plate, I'm just like, please don't hit into a double play. And I'm gonna put this one on me because I said, please don't hit into a double play. Edman walked, and I breathed a sigh of relief. I'm like, whew, we're through that. Not thinking, of course, that the next guy could hit into a double play.
It's always available. Yeah. It's always available,
always
that double play. That's something that is constantly there, especially for this team. But like with those double plays, it's hard to get. I mean, it's easy to get upset, obviously, but they're getting guys on base to allow for those double plays to happen. Looking at it in the positive light, which I know I'm always Mr. Positive, like that's kind of
yes.
how the fact is they're getting on base, and I think eventually that will all start to come through. It's unfortunate that they were not getting these runs against the Braves, against the Brewers in big situations. But again, I mean, they had opportunities. They had opportunities the night before. They had Shohei on third with nobody out after a triple to lead off the ninth. They had opportunities last night. They just are not coming through with those opportunities. I have to just trust that at some point when it gets to the postseason, they're going to come through in those situations because they have in years past. For the last 2 years on their way to the World Series, they came through in those situations.
Yeah, and I think that's sort of where we're all at right now, right? Is just believing in the guys in the lineup, and the guys in the dugout, the guys in the clubhouse, that they're going to figure out how to come through. Now, there's definitely some positive news. Will Smith rehabbing, had a home run in his first rehab game. So the expectation, the hope at least, is that he will be back with the team as early as next week. So that is certainly a positive. So there is sort of help coming for the lineup. Alec Thomas, the 0 for 5 and the double play notwithstanding, has given them some good at bats. Hunter Fiducia at the bottom of the lineup has been one of their more consistent hitters over the last week or so. Not a sentence I thought I'd be saying out loud in 2026, but here we are. So, there are some positives here. Yeah, it's frustrating watching them not be able to break through, especially look, they worked so hard to get back and tie that ball game, and then to leave those opportunities sitting out there on the base paths a little bit hard to swallow last night.
So go to the Hunter Fiducia thing. So you were talking about Hunter Fiducia. With Will Smith coming back possibly Tuesday next week, is what Dave said, which would be amazing to finally see him back in the lineup. Rortvedt is the one that they move down, right? It's Fiducia stays up, Rortvedt goes down.
Fiducia stays,
It has to. I mean, every time I see Hunter Fiducia at the plate, I feel good about it. He's obviously not going to get a hit every time or do the right thing every time, but I felt like no matter what, Rortvedt is not doing much of anything from what I've seen. And again, granted, I was gone and I didn't get to watch every game. I did try to watch as much as I possibly could.
You didn't miss much with Rortvedt.
I was nervous.
Yeah.
Mark, I was nervous because they were winning all these games while I was gone. So I was like, oh man, are they gonna come after me? Like, oh, Bergie's on vacation, so now they're winning everything, and he comes back and they keep losing. Like,
stay over in the islands, Bergman.
Hey, please, okay, let's do it.
I mean, Rortvedt is the odd man out there. And here's the thing about Fiducia. It's the approach that he takes at the plate. He understands sort of who he is and what he can do. And he, as it was famously once said, a man's got to know his limitations. He sort of understands what his job is at the bottom of the lineup. It is, just put the ball in play, just try to get on base, just try to flip this thing over to Shohei Ohtani. And then he's actually come up in spots where he's been able to drive in runs, and he's done a pretty good job of doing that. So, no, I'm perfectly pleased with Hunter Fiducia at the plate so far.
Yeah, he did it last night. I mean, he got on base.
Yeah.
He got on base to get to Shohei, which Shohei didn't do anything, but he actually did his job. That was what we loved about Rortvedt last year, is that he would always turn the lineup over to get back to Shohei, and Fiducia's doing that this year. His time in Tampa Bay completely changed him, because I remember when he was here with the Dodgers, it was just like, oh God, Hunter Fiducia, I don't need to see any of this at all. And he's been a completely different player here now since coming over from Tampa Bay. It's been nice to see.
It's been really nice to see, for sure. Roki Sasaki started the game last night for the Dodgers, lasted 3 1/3, charged with 4 runs. I emphasize charged with 4 runs because at least one of those runs probably should not have scored. Teoscar Hernandez overruns a ball in left field. Look, if he catches the ball, the runner from third is still going to tag up and score. That is, I think that's undeniable. But the ball drops in fair territory. Baldwin ends up with a double, 2-run score. At that point it was 4-3, and then shortly thereafter, you get Sasaki leaving with a blister. When I texted you guys in the chat, the responses were kind of dejection. Is that the best way to describe that? Hearing that Roki Sasaki is going to be on the IL for, I don't know, 10 days or so.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a little bit disappointing for him mostly. And it also seems like it's just to clear up the blister, and it's not going to be anything more than that. That's because you have enough guys in your rotation now. That Eric Lauer was pitching out of the pen last night. But you have enough guys in your rotation now, especially with Glasnow back and Snell back and everybody, and you have Skubal. Shohei is supposed to pitch on Sunday. Whether he does or does not is kind of still up in the air. But the fact is that Shohei's supposed to pitch on Sunday. So you have enough guys. It feels like just to get him. He just has been pitching well, and has been getting guys out when he's needed to get them out. So it's just, it's disappointing to hear him on the IL, but this doesn't seem like an IL. This seems like a Justin Robleski IL and Edwin Diaz IL. Just like, all right, just, take a little time, heal yourself. We'll bring you back. And then you're going to be coming mostly out of the pen, you'd assume, after that.
Yeah, I guess the good news about this IL stint, if there is one, is that it's a blister. It's not... Yeah. There's no Dave Roberts diagnoses that we have to try and decipher, right? Like, it's not like, hey man, he just has a little bit of a back twinge. It should only be a week, and then fast forward 3 months later, it's Tyler Glasnow finally pitching again. So a blister is what a blister is. Most of us, not all of us, have had one at some point. Like, they go away relatively quickly. So that's sort of the positives on that there.
Blisters on me fingers.
Blisters on me fingers. So at this point, Dodgers 2 back of the Brewers, 2 up on the Braves. There is still some breathing room here. Coming into this series, what was your feeling? Like, obviously they're not going to win the series. If they somehow get swept, is it panic time for this team if they don't win tonight?
I wouldn't call it panic time. I don't think there really is panic time until you get into the postseason. But I think it'll be frustrating because you're going to get swept, and that's always hurtful. And the fact that you would now lose the last 6 to the Brewers and the Braves, like you were talking about earlier, that's just a little annoying more than anything. And you could fall into you work so hard to get back into right behind the Brewers to try and take over the number 1 seed, and instead you're going to kind of fall backwards, and you could fall into the 3rd seed relatively soon. I think it's 3.5 up on the Braves right now. Is that right? I'm just trying to
it's 2.
Right now. It's
2
2
up on the Braves.
So it's 2.
Yeah.
It's 2 up on the Braves, which would push it down to 1, and that kind of you'd rather have a little more space there because you'd rather have the 2 spot. From the way that everything seems like it's turning out too, that the 1 seed is kind of the tougher path to the World Series.
It's a little bit of a tougher draw for sure.
Like it's going to get a little bit dicey there. You're almost wanting to be in this 2 spot. I mean, you get into wherever you want to get in, but I'm not sitting here thinking that if they lose this game, that's the world's coming to an end. I think they're still at a space where they're getting on base, they're getting hits. They were doing the things that you like to see them do in the sense of taking walks, being more patient at the plate, not just swinging wildly away, and getting pitchers out really early in the game. Those things to me are all positives to where they were a couple of weeks ago when it was just swing, and the offense was nothing. At least you got 5 runs out of those 17 on base runners. So I'll be annoyed that they lose, but I'm not going to be panicking at all. No, are you?
Not panicking, just frustrated. I think that's sort of the thing there. And so panic may have been an overstatement of things, but I think my hope was because of the way they had played. And look, I understand it was the Royals, it was the Pirates, it was the Rockies. Like these weren't exactly world beater teams, but because we had seen kind of a different Dodger ball club in those series. One, as you mentioned, that was having a better approach at the plate. The starting pitching continues to be pretty good. I know it was a tough day for Roki yesterday, mostly because of the blister, but the starting pitching has been really good. The offense was starting to come around. The base running, we haven't seen the toot blondes that we were seeing earlier, in the month. So that part was encouraging. So I was sort of hoping some of that would carry over to Atlanta, and I guess it has. They just haven't been able to finish the job in either the first 2 games of the series. So I guess that part is a little bit disappointing, a little bit frustrating. I'm starting to take the Travis Rogers approach to things where, Travis has always said, because the guys don't necessarily seem concerned, that he's not going to seem concerned. And I know sometimes that comes off as them being maybe too professional or not being emotional enough, but this is a group of guys who understands how to get through 162 games and get ready for the playoffs. And so they have a tough loss, and they basically are like, we got another one tomorrow, or they have a really great win. It's like, yeah, cool, we got another one tomorrow. And so I think that is where I'm starting to get to. We're like, yeah, last night, difficult, frustrating, annoying. They got another one tomorrow. So it's about to get back on the horse and get ready for tomorrow. So
no, yeah, I'm totally with you on that. I'm with Travis on that too. Is that 162 game season is a really long season. Trust us. You and I are talking about this every single day.
We're doing this every day.
So this is, even on the weekends in the group chat, we're still talking about this. So it doesn't actually go anywhere. But at the same time, this is a really long season. They've played more games than anybody because they've made it to the World Series the last 2 years and won them. They were in the 7-game series last year that was incredibly intense, and they still have one of the best records in all of baseball. So, yes, it's frustrating. Watching this team game in and game out is frustrating, but we are still in such a better space than look where the Padres and the Pirates and the Reds. I understand the Padres have gotten better, but they're still losing games. Also, it's hard to get through this season, and I trust this squad specifically because they've done this and they know what it takes. So that's why I'm still very focused on what's going to happen in the postseason, because that's what they're used to doing. They're used to this long stretch and just okay, we just got to maintain. And then I don't think it's a switch so much. I think the switch has already been flipped. You saw it. You talked about it with the Brewers and not the Brewers. I'm sorry, the Pirates and the Rockies, where they swept both those teams. They still got on base. They still were getting hits. They didn't get the big hits when it mattered the most, but they still were putting up runs. The fact is that they're still having the same approach. So as we get into September, they know that it's go time, and they know that this is the time where we have to. And now you're getting even more healthy. Tyler Glasnow's back. You have basically your starting rotation is healthy minus Shohei, and Shohei's supposed to be back on Sunday, if not a little bit after that. Will Smith is coming back. I mean, everybody is kind of all being back to where they're supposed to be, and eventually it's all going to start to click more so. I trust this team to get through where they need to get through.
Yeah, I think so too. I know John Ireland. I've been joking, like John Ireland was trying to bury this team for months, and
He does it every year, man.
Oh, he's been trying to bury this team for a while. My response has been, look, you are the champs until somebody knocks you out. And so, I'm still going to place, my belief and my faith in this Dodger ball club. In the chat, the kid 2112 actually has a really good point too. Remember, the Dodgers have the second easiest schedule remaining, and the Braves and Brewers play 7 times in September. So, if you are the Dodgers, you go through, you keep winning. Ideally, those teams just beat each other up when they play each other. If they could, somehow go split that series 4-3 one way or another, that goes a long way toward helping the Dodgers gain some ground and maybe even sneaking into that 1 seed.
I mean, it's possible, but also, it's just, as we said earlier, the 1 seed does not look easy. That does not look like an easy path. I don't think any path is going to be easy, so I don't really care where they are to me. But also, John Ireland is the funniest guy in the world. I'm glad you brought that up, because he's also the guy that the Lakers are going 82-0 every single season and they're going to win every single game because he works for the Lakers. But when he has a chance to actually be honest about a team, about the Dodgers, because he doesn't work for them, he's like, "Oh, it's all over. I'm going to be my real self and tell you, and everything I feel about the Lakers is when I'm going to push it all over to the Dodgers." He cracks me up, man. I love him.
I've lost track of how many Mondays I've come in for Super Crosstalk, and the question directed to me. So Marcus Grant hosts the Blue Review, and
Marcus, you know the Dodgers.
Hey, so they lost 2 of their last 3. There's no chance they win the World Series, right? I'm like, John, it's July, man. Like, what are we doing?
The narratives that he pushes when it's not the Lakers is so good. It's so good. I love it. Yeah, he's
I
amazing.
absolutely love it. I don't think you have been here since. Were you here when Andy Pajes was placed on the IL?
No, I saw it though.
If I've gotten your thoughts on them being without their center fielder for at least a month.
God, that hurts so bad. I mean, this is why Alec Thomas is up, obviously, but it hurts, man, because he's a big part of your offense. He's a huge part of your defense. I mean, he's the guy that saved the World Series, even though I think Kike would have caught it against the Blue Jays last year. But he's a huge part of your defense. He's one of the best center fielders in the game. And center, as we've talked about numerous times, center field is one of the most important positions on the field. That line right up the middle, catcher, pitcher, shortstop, center fielder, is the most important positions on the field. And it's huge. That's a huge loss. I'm hoping that he's back. Obviously, Dave is saying that he's going to be back. But at the same time, you're a different guy when you come back, when you get hit in the wrist. Ask Max Muncy, ask Mookie Betts. Those things take a while to heal, and it does not. Like, you can see the ball on his wrist right there. There's so many little tiny bones right there that it's a different feeling when you come back. I hope that he's good when he comes back, but he is such a huge part of it. At the very least, his defense hopefully will be back to where it needs to be. So, yeah, that one hurt a lot. I don't think it's the end-all, be-all of what's going to happen to this team, but that one is a massive, massive loss, especially for your defense.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So hopefully he's able to heal up quickly, get ready, get back in the lineup. I don't know, maybe the time off just helps reset some things too at the plate for him. We will see. Series finale tonight in Atlanta, 4:15 first pitch. Hell of a pitching matchup tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Yoshitobu Yamamoto going against Chris Sale. This is one you want to lock in for and try to see every single pitch if you can, because this one should be a really fun one tonight. Of course, we'll be back to talk about it tomorrow as well. So stick around. So down on Cap Morning Extravaganza coming up right after us. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Thanks to Carlo for production assistance. Welcome back, Greggles.
Thank you. Greggles. I like that.
You like that? That'll do it for this edition of the Blue Review presented by LAX. For Greggles, I'm Marcus. We'll see you tomorrow, 6:30 to 6:55 here on the ESPN LA YouTube channel.
Sip. Blue Review. Blue Review.